John's joining us today from Portland
Shit.
on Zoom.
From the Portland of my soul.
Yeah. Welcome to Bourbon, Beer, and Books.
Hey.
Hey, we are live. This is the live edition from the Banyan studio here inside the Monarch building.
We're all here.
We're all here from Zoom.
We are lucky enough here to have, straight from Portland. We just
Astoria.
Astoria.
That's right. Oh my God, even better. Astoria, which that place looks fake. When you drive through it, it looks like it doesn't even, like, for real.
I tell you what, man, on some days you're driving towards it and the fog from the river and the sea come and just take the whole island. And you think what was that Japanese movie where the moving cities just like disappeared, or it went into fantasy? Like, does it even exist? Astoria is amazing. But I love Ogden too. You guys got some snow on those mountains.
A
little bit.
It looks beautiful.
A little bit. We needed.
Is my mic on? Okay.
Yeah.
You just have to get it real close.
Oh, I can turn you up.
Did you drive in with the snow coming?
Oh yeah,
Did you get
yeah.
this
But there's
morning?
hardly any snow at all. Your guys' precipitation. We came from Moab, so
Okay.
Oh yeah.
it was really, really small. But what's that mountain that goes up 7,500 feet on the way here? It would start snowing up there. I don't know the pass.
Oh, the pass on the way here.
Yeah.
Oh, what is
I'm not
it?
sure because when you said, I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. We just drive through it.
Yeah.
we don't even.
We
We don't look at signs or names. We just drive.
We
through
take
it.
it for granted.
We didn't either.
Right
Then I'm
there.
like, let's just check the elevation. I'm like, holy shit, 7,500 feet.
He's
So
a big boy, huh?
yeah.
It's up there. Okay, so we have the book, The Vegetarian,
By
Hong Kong.
Han Kang.
Yeah, Hong
Kang.
Kong,
She's a South
Kang.
Korean.
South Korean.
South Korean writer. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature, which hasn't been won for a while. So I picked the book, and
He's just gonna admit.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna
He's
go
taking
for it
full responsibility for this.
because I'm like, okay, she's got the secret sauce, man. Let's check it out. Let's do this. You know, no American writer has won it since Hemingway, right? Am I wrong?
Whoa.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a long stretch.
Yeah.
Well, right. And people were asking, why have you not won any international writing awards, you Americans? And I think it was the Swiss that says, because you're arrogant and insular. And I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. We
Well,
totally
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? We almost named the podcast that.
That was the runner-up.
Yeah.
with the whiskey.
And if you've listened to any of the six of you who have listened to our previous podcasts, you would know that we are arrogant and insular.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
look
You
at
will
the
agree.
insular. I can give you a brief synopsis of the novel. If
Mhm.
we
Very,
like. Are
very
we at
brief
that point?
synopsis of the novel so that we know what we're getting ourselves into, and then we'll introduce why we chose the beverages that we have chosen.
Okay. So here's what the book is about. A woman has a dream about blood and violence towards animals.
Mm.
She becomes a vegetarian,
Dream.
and then she slowly dies. That's the book.
Perfect.
It's the book.
I mean, I
Sounds
like
horrible.
to say it's a visceral roller coaster in her descent into madness.
Yes.
But it's never told through her point of view.
Never.
So you're
Wait,
kind of
is
left
this-
wondering.
I'm thinking of the yellow
Wallpaper.
yellow wallpaper. Is that? Are we going? Is that?
It's I would say there are
Bad.
themes because so this book is divided up into three parts. The first part is called The Vegetarian. The second part is The Mongolian Mark, which
Hmm.
and the third one is The Flaming Trees.
Yes.
And so the first one is told through the eyes of the vegetarian's husband. And
Lovely guy, right,
Hate
Dory?
him. Hate him.
well, there's not a whole lot of characters you like in this.
No,
Anybody would
there's
like
not.
in this book. The second book is told through the eyes of the vegetarian's sister's husband.
Hate him.
And the third book is
Oh,
told through
jeez.
the eyes of the vegetarian's sister.
She's all right.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't like her either.
It's
I
complicated.
don't like her either.
It's complicated.
Uh-huh.
I like her more than
The other two.
the brother-in-law and the husband.
Yeah, and we'll get into the slow descent of madness I'm talking about my own as I read this.
Right. Exactly.
Casey, you opted out, I think. Is that what you're, or what do you?
Let's just say I didn't opt in.
You didn't opt in.
I don't know if that's if there's a distinction there, but I believe that there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He watched YouTube videos.
I watched some YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
Did you start? Did you try? And then was like,
You know, I have a reputation to uphold. No, I didn't even. I know.
Well-
I feel really disappointed. The next few, like I'm good for the next like 11 months. The next 11 months, the next 11 books. I mean, I'll read them. all.
October's hard for you.
October is
September,
hard for me.
October, very hard.
October's very
he did
busy.
work every day in October.
every day,
Every single day.
12 to 14.
Well, then let's show us the beer you chose because of
Okay, so
the
I
decisions you
chose
made.
bin chicken, because I was too chicken to read the book.
You know, there's a
It is-
movie too you could have watched.
Is it really?
Totally
There
is, yeah,
Really?
there's a movie too.
Huh.
Now you.
Hmm.
But it was subtitles, so you'd have to read those.
Oh,
I could do that.
I
Mm-mm.
don't know how they did the movie. I did not watch the movie.
Mm-mm.
But,
I don't want to watch them.
ugh.
Okay, Dory. So, what beer did you pair with this book?
Red Rock Brewery's Forbidden Fruit. It is a Pog Tart Ale.
What's a pog?
You don't know what a pog is?
Passion fruit.
Don't
orange, and
Google it.
guava.
Not
Don't-
that kind of pog.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, not that.
What's
And
the-
it's tart.
Why, what do you-
Who asked if it was tart? It's tart.
no, it's tart. It's
tart.
pretty tart, huh?
It's forbidden fruit because if you read chapter 2, she's forbidden fruit,
Mhm.
but that's really all she can eat after
Yeah.
becoming a vegetarian.
Mhm.
This doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with
That
that
and
dragon
kimchi.
book, does it?
Absolutely not.
Nothing
No.
to do with it.
What's the dragon bug?
We'll
I don't know.
talk about that one later. Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fourth wing?
Oh, the
Oh, that book.
yes.
Oh.
Wrong dragon book.
Oh, wrong dragon book.
Okay.
Different drug.
Okay. Sean, what did you bring to pair with this
All right,
book?
so
this
I
evening?
got the Brainless Passion.
Epic.
By Epic, and it's a very beautiful beer. You can't taste the fruit too much. It's not too sweet. It's really good. Part of their exponential series. I got this because the vegetarian wants to become brainless, and it's her passion to become a tree. So that this
It's
seems
weird.
it seems to work.
Does
But-
anyone else share that passion
No.
in here?
No, definitely not.
I can't say that. I
But for our bourbon, we got Old Forester
Oh, yeah.
because she wants to be a tree,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it's Old
Which I think we
Forester.
should take us around.
Yeah, let's see how that
just-
goes.
Old
Let's just
Forester.
drink some of this Old Forester.
There's
Hmm.
It's smooth. It is a smooth, good.
Oh, that is.
That is
I was
good.
telling you guys, this is Hemingway's favorite whiskey, and the reason why he didn't write about it all is because he felt Faulkner had all of cornered the market on whiskey, so
You
that's why.
really drug out the F when you said that.
Faulkner.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, have you tried to read Down in the Fury, man?
yeah,
That
it's rough.
Yeah.
rough.
okay. Well, I didn't read the book, but I did preview the link you sent over. There's another podcast that sort of tried to talk about it, and they were smart and
They were
over.
very smart.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it, but I got about, I don't know, it's like 30 minutes long, and I got about
Yeah.
5 minutes in, and they talked about heart,
good job.
whatever. This coming in from certain places, and so this is the garden that she wants to grow.
Well, I will
Yeah.
say, she says multiple times.
Chappelle's a local brewer, by the way. Chappelle Brewery. Oops, I'm gonna put the camera on here. Chappelle Brewery out of Salt Lake, and you can only get this if you go to the brewery, or we have just 2 blocks down a specialty craft beer boutique store called Salt and
Oh.
Hops. Salt and Hops carry it because the only reason they carry it is because they go literally pick it up and then bring it back and put it in.
I love salt and
Salt and
hops.
Hops is awesome.
Mhm.
I will say her goal, the vegetarian's goal, was to bloom from her crotch area, and
Yeah.
those were the exact words.
And not a child,
Five.
but
flowers.
flowers.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, okay.
Yeah, please.
I didn't read the book.
Kate has question.
I have questions.
I'm gonna need the questions. I don't know where to start. I wanted to love this book. I wanted
Yeah.
to say look at me, I'm so smart. I'm really enjoying this book by this Nobel Prize
Mhm.
winner. That didn't turn out that way.
Okay, can you want to elaborate on why I didn't like it? It just didn't flow, or what kind of why did
I thought about that a lot.
Yeah?
So you read the first book, and I'm thinking, well, maybe she's bucking the patriarchy. Did you feel like that? It's
Yes.
like, okay, I get it. So she becomes
But I'm okay with that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love that too, for sure.
Right.
But I was so she's like, I'm not cooking meat anymore, and her husband got mad. The whole first part of this first part was him explaining why he married her. She's so plain. She makes him feel better about having a small penis and bad hair.
Mm.
That's why they got married. And I'm like, all right, well,
Wait, they got married because he has a small penis?
yeah, he married a plain woman.
She's unremarkable. That's how I
Unremarkable.
see it.
Unremarkable. Okay.
So, like, if it was a hot chick, there's a lot of pressure. You're gonna have a,
Okay.
yeah, whatever. But so I'm like, all right, well, maybe this book is about bucking the patriarchy, and it's about changing things up, especially in South Korea, where women are so more I don't know, they like try to serve men all the time, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. Did you feel like that in the first book?
No.
No.
No. It's all about conformity, and they don't want to break the mold. They don't
Yeah.
want to I don't want to say people pleasing, but it's the women are like,
Oh yeah.
whatever you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's like, I'm not doing this. And so the
Mhm.
first book just kind of follows him. It's like, why is she doing this? Oh my God, she's losing too much weight. Her boobs aren't nice anymore.
Mm.
And so it's like, okay, that's superficial bullshit. And I can understand this type of thing. And this story is going to go this way. But the first part of this book ends with, what do they call that when your whole family gets together to make you stop doing something?
Intervention.
Intervention.
It was a meat intervention.
Wow.
And the dad forces a piece of pork in her mouth.
Huh.
Oh,
Yeah. He's awful.
oh my
Another
God.
awful character.
Yeah, they said that he was a Vietnam veteran, but they didn't say which side he
What
was
side?
on. Yeah,
Hmm.
He was brutal.
yeah, and
That's interesting.
Yeah, they
scene.
shoved the meat in her mouth.
and then she gets mad, and
As you do.
Yeah, I mean-
but like according to her character, instead of upset and lashing out against them, she takes a fruit knife and slashes her wrists.
Hmm.
So,
That's in part one.
That's
Yeah.
the end of part one.
end of part one. Interesting.
That's how she ends up in the
Vegetarian.
hospital
Yes.
The first time, yeah.
the first time, because there's part two where she's
Well, she gets out of hospital. Part two, she's not in the hospital. Part three, she's in the hospital the whole time, and it just is as exciting as it sounds.
Hmm.
Watching someone die in a hospital
Mhm.
slowly, and that's pretty much the whole book. So
You need a palate cleanser after this book.
Yeah. Did you read?
part two gets crazy.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll let Dory talk about that.
Okay, but before we get there,
wanna.
with part one, and since I mean, Case and I are on the outs, so
Mhm.
just by the description of it, is it? And this has been translated,
This
From
has
a
been
different-
translated
yeah.
to 39 different languages.
but it one.
This was written in. I'm sorry, I should have said this was written in 2007.
Okay.
And it was
Originally
published
in-
by the South Korean government. I don't know
Okay.
how their stuff works,
Hmm.
but like that's what helped publish it. And it was and when it got published, it was seen as like very eccentric, very wild, very unique. No one really had this idea before.
So that's my question: is maybe our Western culture we do
Yeah.
not get the bigness of this book.
You're totally right. As I was reading it, I'm thinking like, this is not written for me,
Mhm.
because my idea is in Western culture, there's only 3 stories, right? You got Man in the Hole, boy meets girl, and Cinderella story, and then you have the hero's journey. So 4 stories, maybe, right? I don't know. Casey, you know about this stuff. You teach and stuff.
You teach.
You educate young
Yeah.
minds.
Man and whiskey.
Yeah, man and whiskey.
Yeah, it's intriguing. My question is multiple times you've said that she wants this and she wants that, right? But if it's never told from her point of view, how does the writer show what she actually wants? Is it
question.
just assumptions?
Yeah.
We don't really
It
know.
never says what she.
Well, she was like she wants the flower.
Oh, she wants to be a tree. and
Oh.
wants to-
right, yeah.
She was really into the whole flower thing.
Oh yeah, that's part. That's
That's
part two.
We'll get to that.
Part two's
Okay.
fun.
I feel like we never get to the true reason why. Well, she had the dream, but
Yeah.
then it just kind of goes off from there.
Okay, so I have a question
It's
for
wild.
you. In the first part, it's told from her husband's point of view,
Mhm.
but there are poems, her poems,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, when her voice comes in,
It does come in a couple times.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's not horrible and
Yeah.
bland and monotone. And
But I feel it's esoteric
Douchey, like her
and
husband's.
very hard to understand.
right.
A lot filled with symbolism, but that was fun trying to figure
Figure
that
it
out.
out.
Well, yeah, maybe you need to read a lot more South Korean literature.
Just anti-Western, anything that's
Yeah,
not
anything's
Western
not
literature,
Western.
because I'm expecting that paradigm or that whole rising. Okay, so yeah, introduction, rising action, climax, resolution. That's what I'm expecting, because this doesn't have any of that.
So in the podcast that you sent us, that they talked about, they couldn't wrap their head around the structure either. They were
Yeah.
confused by the structure. Same.
Yeah, but I've written stories like that, but to me, they've all been mistakes. You know,
Mhm.
but
You should have submitted it. You might have won
I
something.
know,
Yeah.
you know what?
That was your Nobel Prize. Right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Oh,
Wasted.
I got the Greyhound Prize. Maybe it was somebody at the bus stop who was bored reading it. But
Okay, so part two or the section, book two, they call it books, I guess.
it's part two.
Okay, part two. Dory,
Yeah.
want to explain?
Yeah, please tell me about the Mongolian mark.
The Mongolian mark. Well, first, let's end on chapter 1 where she's in the hospital. Her husband's. He
But did
can't
you
do
get
this
that
anymore.
thing about the bird? She,
Okay,
like, took
yeah.
a bite out of a bird.
So she escapes from the hospital.
The bin chicken.
The
Yeah,
bin
but-
chicken.
Well, that's like an Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, she
story.
come exactly. That's exactly. She comes back, and when she returns, she's disheveled. She has a bird in her hand, and it has a predator mark.
yeah,
taken out
I
of it.
thought I'm like, it was a bite. But
Yeah, she took a bite, and she took a bite out of crime. Apparently,
Mhm.
who else had the bird?
Oh,
Was it somebody else?
she
Ooh.
found a half-bitten bird.
Yeah. And that's how it ends. And the husband. is like,
I'm really proud of y'all
no.
for finishing this.
I am
Weird
too.
I'm proud of
stuff.
myself.
I'm actually really
I'm
like.
patting myself on the back because that was a rough read.
This is odd.
So,
There's some
yeah.
weird shit going on.
So that's how
yeah.
the first chapter or part ends.
Ends. Okay.
The bird with the bite. They don't say if she bit the bird, but
We don't know if it's alive or dead.
yeah,
Bird.
we don't know. She's just there
Okay.
after she escaped.
It's not like Popeyes. Like she didn't
No.
suck like Popeyes.
No,
Okay.
Fried.
no. So
No, this bird.
part
had feathers.
2, the Mongolian mark, which I thought part 1 was rough with the whole male
Right? Yeah.
Mm.
jerk. Like,
Yeah.
oh, jerk's not even the word for it. I was disgusted. I didn't think I could be any more.
Was it hard to read?
disgusted. Yes,
Yeah.
Wait.
There's
Why
definitely-
were you disgusted by him?
by the husband.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, trigger warning here.
Yeah.
He rapes her.
Mhm.
He takes advantage of her.
Well,
Um,
before he does that, I mean, what about him?
Just the way he describes, like, well, I guess she's pretty much unremarkable and nothing, so she won't she won't challenge me.
right?
It's like she's a check mark, like, oh, married, got it. Woman who's gonna serve me, got it.
Uh-huh.
It's gross, and the way he
That sounds
describes her
awful.
is gross.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and
wait.
he's
What's he
starting-
do for a living though?
I don't remember.
He's an artist. His wife is the one that works. All he
No.
does-
Oh, I'm still talking about chapter. Oh,
Oh,
the first one.
okay. Sorry.
The
sorry, sorry.
husband.
Yeah, I don't know what he does.
The husband. That's why I hate the husband. I'm sorry, I was confused because I guess all the men are assholes in this
They
book.
are. You're
I-
totally
I
right.
am
100%.
confused.
Yeah.
So the husband is a jerk because of that. Then we go into chapter 2, and it's her sister's husband, who is never named. We never get a name for him.
Right.
And he's an artist.
And he's
Like,
not that important on us.
No, he sucks. He's like a trust fund
He
baby.
sucks.
He does. He's a trust fund baby.
Oh, God.
They talk about it. And his wife is the breadwinner. She owns a cosmetic store that she started when she was like a teenager. And she's very successful. And
And they have a child.
they have a small
Yeah,
child.
he's like, I got to go to my studio. It's like too much. I can't do it.
Can't
Yeah,
deal
he
with
can't
this.
handle it.
Yeah.
So she has to
And-
get off work to go get the kid. And like, it's so
She set the bar real low for him. And so he makes this art that it sounds like it sucks too, like him.
and it's a type of art that I really never heard of before. It's like he takes videos of art and shows it in places. So
He's got nothing else to do.
yeah, nothing else.
Yeah.
He's avoiding his kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what
Yeah.
he's doing.
He's avoiding life, responsibility.
That's his true art. You have to be
Yes.
good at that.
Yes. And he talks about, and the way that Young Hae, which is our vegetarian, the way her husband spoke about her, she's unremarkable. And I'm not really into her, but I just married her because she's not going to challenge me. The brother-in-law, the wife, the sister, Ing Hae, is beautiful. She's got everything's fabulous about her. She's got very successful. She's got a really charismatic personality, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He's threatened by it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
threatened by it.
Yeah.
And this creepy, weird second part of the book, she's Ing Hae, the sister, is talking about their son, who's probably like 3, and he has what is called a Mongolian mark, and it's
Right.
like a birthmark, and
that fades after childhood.
yeah, it
is
fades
what-
after childhood. It's a
usu-
bluish mark.
usually, Yeah.
And she brings up, oh yeah, my sister, the vegetarian, Young Hae, has one, but hers never faded.
And
Oh.
after that, this is like chapter 34 of the Fourth Wing. Shit gets totally weird. You're like, oh my god.
It goes off the rails.
It goes off the rails a
okay?
little. Okay.
He is just fascinated with this thing.
Yeah,
He needs to
he's
do
obsessed.
something with this thing.
He's aroused.
Wait, time out. I lost your train of thought. What is this thing?
The
blue-
birthmark.
The
it's a
Mongolian
little-
mark.
Way?
It's a little blue petal, flowered petal type thing on
Okay.
on her buttock, somewhere left or right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and the sister casually mentions it because when they're talking about the son, and he just fixates
Yeah.
on
All of a
this.
sudden, his penis gets hard when he's
Yeah,
thinking about her, and he's like, I haven't had sex with her for a long time, but maybe her sister, that'd be cool.
Oh.
And like,
yeah.
and then, but he doesn't really, he's such a coward, he doesn't follow up on that. So he comes up with this artistic event type of thing, and I'm gonna let you talk about that.
I think Dory's not happy about this.
Dory's
Well-
not.
Well, this is also a part we missed. But he's after the sister said that he's obsessed with this Mongolian mark. Talks about when she slit her wrist with the knife, with the fruit knife, and he's carrying her down the stairs to go to the hospital because her husband's not going to do it. Her brother's not going to do it. Her father certainly isn't going to do it. And he's, oh, this blood. And he kept the shirt that she bled on. And
Oh, that made him hard too.
that made him hard. Like he's a disturbed individual. And we're not kink shaming here, but he's a jerk. So I don't,
Yeah.
There's no kink shaming on
there
this
is
show.
there is no kink shaming here.
Well, if
So-
your sister-in-law's blood
No,
on
it's-
a- on a
it's weird.
shirt.
Is that niche enough?
I
think?
don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he starts working on this art piece. He goes to this little office that he rents from somebody. And does he start with the painting? I don't
Yeah, he
remember.
paints her. He paints her. So he just goes up to her and is like, hey, I got this idea. I want to paint flowers all over your body and then videotape you naked. And she's like, oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
She doesn't really say yes or no at first, but she doesn't say no. So
Well, did she say hold the beef?
no.
She didn't
doesn't-
even say that.
It's
No.
even creepier because she doesn't say yes or no or anything, and he just takes that as a yes.
No.
And he's like, well, meet me here. I mean, she shows up to do it, but the whole time she doesn't really speak too much. She's like losing her words, and she just shows up places, and he paints her from head to toe in all of these flowers all over her body, and then has her lay on her stomach and then lay on her back, and he videotapes it, and he loves it. He
Hmm.
thinks this is the best artistic thing he's ever done in his life, and he needs to take it further.
Hmm.
That is
Cinemax did that in the 80s. So I don't know if he's
I don't know if the author
yeah.
was inspired by Skinamax. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm familiar. I mean,
It's like an episode, it was the 80s. They had the video art installation.
Yep.
Maybe it's something like
Yep.
that.
a little bit of like haze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he feels we need to take this to the next level. We've done the painting of a video. He decides to call one of his art friends and says, come on over. I'm going to paint you. And then we kind of want to have you simulating sex, and I want to video this. So his
So
friend's
it took him a while to try to
Yeah.
talk his buddy into it. And his buddy's like, I don't know if I want.
His buddy's like, dude, you're weird, man.
well, his
Mhm.
buddy's an artist too, because they all like
Oh.
rent studios at this
Yeah.
one place. He's like, I've never been a
like the Monarch
performer.
like the Monarch.
Yeah.
It's like the Monarch.
But the guy, yeah, it is. But the guy was like the artist, the brother-in-law. And he's like, I want to do it, but I'm all flabby and I don't work out and I don't really care about this stuff. I'm not going to do it myself. I want somebody. So he finds a friend who's in shape and asks him, like, will you get naked with my sister-in-law? Oh, by the way, I'm not telling, my
His wife.
his wife. I'm not telling my wife.
She has no idea this is happening.
It's not good.
No.
And the guy's like, fine, I'll do it. And I guess, and so he paints.
Now I'm sad I didn't read it.
This guy he
And then
paints
just
his
read
buddy.
the second chapter.
Yeah,
Okay.
flowers from head to toe. Don't read the third chapter.
Mm-mm.
From head to toe, and then they are doing their performance art. He has them doing it, but then he's like, if you wouldn't mind, just have sex.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind.
You don't
Yeah.
mind?
Jeez.
That's how
Yeah.
he goes about it.
And the guy was like,
Do it?
no, I will
Uh.
not do that.
So is this guy kind of decent?
The guy who got painted?
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like the
Okay,
he's the
finally,
most-
one
Well, he's the one
normal
like,
person.
yeah, I'm not taking it to that level.
yeah, he's
Okay,
the
okay.
best guy in this whole
Right.
entire book.
Okay. Well, there we go. Well, there's a
Yeah.
win.
I guess the son's okay because he doesn't talk really.
He's 3.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
But,
So yeah, he doesn't want to do it. He's like, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
but he's like, please, will you do it? And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. So he leaves. And guess what happens?
No, the artist gets in there.
The artist calls a woman. Oh, so
No, he tries to force himself on her.
Right.
Like I said,
Yeah.
trigger warning here, but
Right.
yeah,
I heard
he
that.
But-
forces
but-
himself on her.
but he's not painted or anything, and he's not gonna do it. She really, you could. I think
She was into it.
She was into it.
The
She
art.
kept
The
playing
art,
with the flowers.
doing the art and the flowers.
Yeah.
When the artist friend was in there,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
she loved flowers, and she was aroused.
Sure.
Right. But she wouldn't do it with him.
He's trying to. He was an opportunistic little creep.
Yeah.
He's like, well, this guy left. I'm gonna try to get in on this, and she said, no,
Good.
you don't do it for me because you're not covered in flowers.
Mhm.
And so she leaves.
This is so weird.
So right away, he calls a friend and says, "Hey, would you mind
Phone's a
painting a bunch of flowers on me?"
Yeah,
What are you doing right now?
Mhm.
Can
Yeah.
you come over?
Middle of the night.
Oh my god.
it's his ex girlfriend
Oh
that he
no.
calls.
Oh no.
He goes to her
Yeah.
place to pick her up. Come, I'm gonna bring you to the studio. Can you come paint me real fast?
Yeah, just real quick. Like,
Yeah.
I got this thing I'm working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she does.
Yeah, because she knows he's
And so
weird.
he's all painted up. And I'm reading this. I'm like, okay, so he's a balding, flabby, middle-aged guy. Now he's painted as flowers. And he goes to the vegetarian's house. And
This is not gonna end well.
She's not painting the flowers off. She loves them.
She keeps
She told him, she's like, this, I'm all about these flowers.
yeah.
This is
I
this,
wanna be
this
a
is me.
flower.
I want to be in bloom.
Yeah. Well,
Basically,
yeah. So
Like the
that's why-
harvest.
yeah, I've got this
yes.
the harvest. Yeah,
She's in her
into it.
element
Okay.
in
yeah.
this body paint.
Yeah.
It's a part of her now.
It wouldn't have worked if he was painting like salami on her.
Absolutely
Yeah.
no.
no.
Flowers.
Too far,
Yeah.
Case.
Yeah.
Too far.
Yeah, so he goes to her house after his friend paints him up.
Yeah.
He's like, now's my chance. Okay, and mind you,
So he's confident now because he's got flowers all
he's got
over.
flowers and he knows
Okay.
that's
Well,
what
some-
Mm.
you never
made
know.
her
Yep. Excited.
excited,
Yep.
aroused, and
Yep.
you know, she's still mentally unstable.
Oh, yeah.
So
Totally.
he's taking advantage of that.
Mhm.
Completely.
So he goes over there, knocks on her door.
And she lets him in, or the door's unlocked. He just comes in. He sets up a video camera. First thing.
Wait, where's her husband?
Oh,
He
no,
divorced
Yeah.
her. Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah. We
sorry,
did.
spoiler. He divorced her after.
Yeah, he took off.
Oh.
After she took a bite of that bird at the
Yeah.
mental hospital.
Oh.
That was the
Like,
last.
Yeah.
no,
straw.
we're
Yeah.
not doing this.
That was in their prenup.
And we
Yeah.
never
Don't bite
see
birds.
him again. He's
No.
Okay.
not ever mentioned again. And so he sets up a video camera and they just go to town. She's all in on this
Flower scene.
flower painted guy. And they have sex all night.
Hmm.
And then he wakes up in the morning. The vegetarian's still asleep. He goes to the kitchen. He's like all groggy. And
he can't find his camera.
yeah, his
The camera's not there in the living room anymore.
So he goes to the kitchen, and there's his wife.
Oh,
She's already watched the footage.
How did she know to follow there?
She was checking on her sister.
She hadn't heard from her sister.
Oh.
She's decided to check that morning, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And boom.
Whoops.
And she says, "Hey, I already called the guys with the straight jackets in the butterfly nets. I guess they still have straight jackets and butterfly nets in South Korea."
Well, it's 2007. It's a long time ago.
Jeez.
And like they're on their way, and they're gonna be here any minute. And he's like, "Wait, what? I can explain. It's not what it's." He says,
I was just blooming.
So who were the jackets, for him or her?
For both of them.
Oh.
She
Both.
called
Yeah,
for both. She's like,
She
you
called on
are
her
obviously
sister. Yeah.
both
Yeah.
not well.
yeah.
And she's like, they'll be here in like 5 minutes.
Kind of want to see the movie.
I
We'll
really
have
don't. I really,
We'll have a
really
Patreon episode when we discuss the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I really don't want to see this movie. But if you enough people wants to see it, I'll watch it with you guys. But I do not.
Wait, so they made it. They did make a movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, I should have sent the.
It was
trailer.
sponsored by Whole Foods.
Not KFC.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the second part ends with the guys getting there with the straitjackets, and he's like, I gotta jump over this balcony to my death, and that's kind of how
It's the only way.
That's the end of
He thinks.
part 2.
Well,
yeah, spoiler alert, he did not. He was a coward and
Oh.
didn't do it.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
And so the third part,
he went off to isolation. They didn't really hear from him.
and
Okay.
again, we
They
don't
should get rid
really
of all the men. It sounds like that's the best way.
They
to do it.
really should.
other than like one phone call, we never hear from him
Yeah.
again in the
Hmm.
rest of the book. So it's just she's just like, I don't care about that character anymore. And then
It's kind of a nice way to write a book, though. She's basically written
Yeah.
3 small books,
right, and that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. Is like you don't have
3 short stories, almost with a theme.
you don't
Mhm.
really have to tie up any loose ends.
Mm,
You
Mm.
just go where you want to go. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to have no resolutions have to happen.
wouldn't sell in America. I mean, like straight away. Like
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Case, would your
my agent,
editor like say,
my agent be like, I don't know what this is.
yeah, they wouldn't allow that.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
You need to
okay.
tie up some loose ends that
Right,
happened in
like
the first
what,
book.
And
what's going
that's
on?
why we're arrogant and insular.
It is true.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or short-sighted, maybe.
Yeah, I
You're not going to win a Pulitzer.
Mm-mm.
no idea where the story went. All of a sudden, it's in the way that these
It's like 2666 though. The same way that works.
yeah.
And all 5
Bologna.
parts are
But
separate.
with ththese ones, it's so
Except those are full novels
2666
in
is-
each way.
I was like, that's a
Well, that's more of a
20,000 page
third.
It is, yeah.
Third person omniscient. This is definitely very close third, if not.
Mhm.
I think it's first person, very close third on the last one.
Yeah.
And that right there in Western books, you don't switch POVs like that.
Yeah.
I can't really think too many to do that. But in this third, how these books start, they don't tell you what point of view it is until you're like
Yeah.
5,
you
10
figure it
pages
out.
in,
Mhm.
right? So you don't really even know. All right,
You're probably
who's
wondering
telling this story right
on
now?
part 3, like, are we finally going to get her point of view? And you don't.
You do not.
We don't.
No, but you finally get the sister's point of view, and the sister is like the martyr, the more kind of maybe a foil at best, not a main character.
She's just a fly on the wall almost, or does she know her better than that?
Well,
They talk about stories when they were younger.
Okay, so she's more than that.
so
She had the pretty privilege where her father treated her better than Young Hae, because Young Hae was plain and unremarkable.
and Young Hae got beat, and I
Yeah.
think that to me, I started to see maybe she's figuring out reasons for why Young Hae is so.
That's the way she is.
What happened? Yeah.
Crazy.
Why did she?
But then she's also really scared. Like, am I crazy like she is too? Because what we didn't really talk about is she has these horrible nightmares throughout the book where she sees herself in the mirror and she's just bleeding from her eyes.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
sorry,
as
the
much-
sister or the vegetarian?
The sister.
Okay.
And as much as she can't try to wipe it away and everything, it just keeps coming out and it won't wipe away. And she has a lot of suicidal tendencies throughout the entire book. And again, I thought it went back to the patriarch. like just how South Korean society is set up, where the women are so much more subservient. And I thought they were trying to buck that. I'm like, that's great. It needs to happen through art for sure. I just can't follow the story. I don't.
It's really crazy though, because I'm sitting here really intrigued at this point. Like, this is really hard to get through. And
Yeah.
Brent and I are like, well, tell us
Maybe we
about
need to read
this.
it. Yeah, I know.
What happened there and how did they do that? You know?
So
Try
why
to,
was
try
the,
to read it, man?
I know that's a different story.
yeah? So why was the third book book
That was
so hard to read?
It was the hardest.
I thought it was boring.
Oh, boring.
So
I mean, I don't know.
It was so boring.
She was such a
Imagine
martyr.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but mixed with, you know how they do those elevator pictures? I'm gonna do this awesome movie. I'm gonna do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest mixed with Bartleby the Scribner. Right? So it was pretty much that.
Huh.
And Bartleby the Scribner's a Melville,
Which I love. I love
the
that.
whole book is just like the Bartleby is being told to do something, and all he does like,
I would prefer not to.
I'd prefer not to. And that's the whole
Yeah,
book.
that's Young Hae, the whole book.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
why don't you do this? Because I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna do
I
it.
prefer not to. And I thought, well, maybe she's bucking like social norms. Like in the second book, I'm thinking like, okay, we got rid of the patriarchy. Now we're bucking complete social norms.
Right.
By the time we got to the third book, I'm like, we're just watching somebody die slowly in a bed
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to eat. And that is so boring. I was like,
It was-
okay, I didn't really enjoy the first and second parts, but they built to something that's not being delivered on. And it could
The
just be-
anger kept me going in the first and second
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
parts.
right.
Oh wow.
And this, there was,
And the third just kind of fizzled. And it was her. She escaped the mental hospital one time. And then what did she do? The most boring thing you could do in a book. She stood outside and got rained on for like two or 3 hours.
she escaped again and went in the forest and was letting it rain on her.
And just
and she
tried to
wanted
turn into a
run with
tree.
the earth.
Trying to turn it into a tree.
Yeah, she did.
Oh my god.
And then the
Oh.
other exciting part, and I say exciting, it's
Exciting.
just horrible, like little blip, was one time when the sister goes to the mental hospital to visit Young Hee, and she is doing handstands
Oh.
because she decided every tree is doing handstands. And that was it. And so if you want to talk to her, you just kind of push her a little bit until she falls over. Then she's no longer a tree, and you could talk to her.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's what happens in the forest.
It's true. I feel like the other patients in the ward were a lot more exciting
Mm.
than
Oh, they elaborate on those people?
a little bit. There's her caretaker
Hmm.
who's like, I failed your she's talking to
I thought her caretaker was just another patient.
she is. She's
Yeah.
another patient.
Yeah.
And they're
Hmm.
like I said, the other patients on the ward are more exciting than our main character and her sister. Because she
like
felt,
Ben Stiller and
I
Happy
failed.
Gilmore.
Yeah, I failed your sister. She's
Totally.
not eating. It's
Instant.
my fault. And she's taking on the responsibility of taking care of Young Hae. And there's a few other patients in there that have a little bit more of an interesting story, even in just a couple of sentences. I'm like,
Go
Okay.
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's elaborate more.
Yeah.
No,
Find out what's going on over
No.
there. Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
no.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so would you read more from this author?
Does she have more?
I don't know.
She has a short story that was the basis for this book.
Hmm.
And in that short story, it was more like magical realism. It was like,
She really turned into a tree.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, honestly, it was.
Well,
Was
She
it
crazy.
fruit
It
or
was
what
a-
was
yeah.
it? Was
The
it
which is
fruit
more
of-
interesting,
the-
quite honestly.
The fruit of my womanhood. I
forbidden fruit?
What?
And the woman actually did turn
Bin
into a
chicken?
tree.
There it
She
is.
did not turn into a bin chicken.
Well, the sister talks about what if I run away? We
Uh-huh.
can't all run away, she says.
Yeah, well,
We all have desires to escape.
she's whispering into her sister's ear right before her sister dies, or maybe she doesn't. We don't know. It doesn't end that way. And she says, maybe this is all a dream, but sometime we have to wake up, don't we? And then it ends with Young Hee
It
just
doesn't rain all the time.
staring out the
Mhm.
window.
Can't rain all-
Thank you, Eric
Yeah.
Draven.
Oh, that's the hey crow.
can't rain all the time.
Mhm.
So when you were talking about how she was slowly starving herself, and at first she slit her wrist and all this, and I thought, okay, this is to maybe she just wants out of her husband's situation. But then when the husband leaves, she still is going down a dark. Does it explain why, or you're just guessing? Like she just doesn't.
We can think she just went through years of abuse with her father, who we see as a monster.
Yeah.
Her douchebag husband, who thinks she's unremarkable, even though he's unremarkable.
Obviously.
And then her brother-in-law, the opportunistic creep.
Yeah.
So she's
trust fund artist
who is somewhat remarkable.
Is he?
Well, sounds that way.
Pulled off a coup or something.
The only decent male in this book is the 3-year-old son.
Yeah.
That's it.
Ugh.
It's the one artist that didn't have
sex with her.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, I'm intrigued by this book. I'm not going to read it, but I'm really, I'm glad that you all did. Like, I did watch American Fiction on the plane. Have you ever watched that? That's really good.
I haven't. That's one with
I love that. I love that movie, but you could have been listening to this book at least.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
That was a
call out.
I could have. Well, life goes on.
So non-recommend. I'm assuming from or like
it may be for some people.
Yeah,
but
sure,
It's not
sure.
for
It's
me.
obviously for somebody.
It's not
Translated in 39 different languages.
Yes.
It's got value. It's not. It's got value.
Right.
You guys did it. I mean, you guys literally talked for
40 minutes.
40 minutes really well about the book. It has something.
I will defend this book and I will say, I'm glad that it's here and I hope more people do read it. Would I recommend a friend to read it? No. But
listen. Okay, give it a pro. One pro, what you just said. That was
well, I mean, if I had to find something good about this book, it's unique to my experience, and the woman is the protagonist and it's never told through her eyes, which makes the reader guess a lot, which I think that's a good thing to do, make it mean whatever it means to that reader. It's like an individual type of thing. And I really like that. I like the whole, take down the patriarchy type of thing and question social norms. But again, that might just be something that I saw, as the individual reader. So I love all those things, but I want more. I want more excitement. I didn't really get it.
Sean, your voice sounds really good on that mic. I'm just saying.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's like
the lady next to me
like Kentucky whiskey.
So I watched American Fiction. And then I watched this other really great slow drama, Winter's Bone. Remember in Winter's Bone, which is really good. I haven't seen that.
5 hours you could have listened to this.
Yeah, that's true. 6 hours. It was a 6 hour class.
You could have listened to the whole.
But the lady next to me watched Twilight, and
wasn't that the first episode for you guys? Of this.
Oh yeah,
Beer
book.
Oh yeah.
She watched Twilight and something else that was really bad. So I feel really literary.
Well, listen, I have a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please.
Well, several pros.
Oh, several.
Down with the patriarchy.
Yeah. Showed that well, right?
It did.
Yeah.
It did. The whole
especially in that culture.
Yeah. And just the way they were so horrible to her.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that because in the first book they really explain her role in life.
Right.
And her role in life was really just making her husband's life easier.
Right.
Feeding him. Her husband worked all the time to like midnight most nights. And so her whole life was serving him. That was it. Yeah. And
was the sisters the same expectations or different? Or do we get this?
Well, she was the breadwinner.
She owned her own business. It was a clothing store. And she did a great job with it. And her husband was the lazy artist.
The trust fund.
But her father was also better to her too, correct?
Yeah, because she had pretty privilege.
Yeah, pretty privilege.
She has pretty privilege. Well, as the other.
That's a thing.
I know.
Poor Case.
Case knows.
Case, I love you.
Case has a horrible burden.
I know.
Oh,
I want to say there is another pro that Kang, the writer of this book, she gave David Cronenberg a run for his money in the body horror because that book was visceral and it was disgusting at times. And if he gave a good Cronenberg movie, The Fly, Videodrome. She goes head to head.
Really?
So I will say A+ on body horror. That's my pro.
Okay.
You love the horror. I didn't really see the. It was like she wanted to be a plant so bad.
But it talks about her body transformation, and then the
I
story
just
with the dog.
I want to have
We didn't talk about
blossoms
that story.
from my crotch, and that
Is that did that come from her poetry?
this is a direct quote several times. I want to blossom from my
Oh, but
crotch.
somebody's just quoting her from their list.
It was her sister.
It was her
like-
poetry.
Yeah.
no,
sister.
her poetry only was in the first part.
Mm.
I really would have rathered that carry on throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Maybe help guide the
whole
story.
book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
It could have given a whole nother perspective. At least we would have known what she was thinking. But
Right.
maybe that's what Kang wanted us to not know what she was thinking. So I don't know.
She kept it a mystery.
So the reason it wins all these awards is because it's so
No idea.
odd, or it's
No idea. No.
because so many
Maybe.
people are asking these same questions.
Maybe,
that it's talked
yeah.
about, and
People are talking about it.
people
Yeah.
are talking about it.
No,
Maybe?
I
No?
don't think that's the point. As
It was
as
in
somebody
its
who,
uniqueness, perhaps.
well, so as someone who's taught creative writing for years and years, I've read stories that are very, very unique and didn't go through the formula, but it just wasn't. I mean, it didn't make to that level because it wouldn't get published. This book would not have been published in America.
Maybe I was talking to Case and Brandon before the show started. The British lady who did the interpretation in English.
Oh
she-
yeah, Deborah Stone.
Yeah, they questioned her. They said this isn't a direct interpretation. This is more of an adaptation. And so she defended it to the end. She goes, "Nope, this is a direct translation of this book." So maybe in
There's something lost in translation.
Korean, yeah,
Mm.
there's
Yeah.
some lost in
Yeah.
translation that
Yeah,
we didn't pick up.
that's
on, but-
beautiful. I'm gonna believe that from now on because I don't
Well,
understand why. Right
yeah.
now.
I was thinking for the next book, just growing on this, is we could pick the Pescatarian. I heard it's good. With some. No,
I don't know, but Case's shirt is really small. On it's or his
I'm
His
just-
pecs are just massive.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Massive pecs. I know. Man, that's looking good.
I
You've been
know.
going to hitting
Look
the
at that.
gym. Look at that.
kettlebells, baby.
Kettlebells.
Kettlebells.
He's got like a routine and everything. going.
I got
Good.
Was
I
it
got the
kettle
kettlebell
popcorn?
going too. I do
All right,
I
well,
love the
we'll close it out
kettlebell.
here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much
I like
for
fitting.
sticking with us on this episode of Bourbon Beer and Books, The Vegetarian by
Vegetarian.
Hong Kong Kang.
Hong
Kang.
Kang.
Kang. Next up is blah 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 blah. Do we have a book next?
I don't know.
I'm
Who
gonna
gets
pick
to
it.
Pick it.
Or
Pick
Dory's
Case.
gonna pick it.
I'm gonna pick it.
Yeah,
Case or
We're gonna-
Dory pick our ghost book that never happened.
I
in
know.
I
October.
did.
because that
It
Dory,
was a
we
good
were not
book.
messing with Dory in October either.
That's a busy
You
month.
guys are all
Busy.
busy. in
It's a busy
October,
month, but we
guess.
do have a Facebook group,
Yes.
Yeah, if you
Bourbon
want.
Beer and Books.
Yeah. Well, we did when we did the poll, that worked really
It
well.
worked really well.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanna
So
do another
Well,
poll?
Let's do
we
another
can
poll.
do a poll, or
Yeah.
we can do the book that we had for October.
Yeah, sure.
What do you guys want to do?
Which one's the October one?
The Vampires
Vampires
of
of
El
Del-
Norte.
But that sounds
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
I like that around
What's
Christmas.
the new witches one? The witches
Hey,
Hey,
there's always time for vampires.
yeah.
there's a new witches one. The witches
I want to do
El
a
Paso?
classic.
Yeah, the witches of El Paso. Have you
Oh.
seen that? It's
No.
supposed to be really good.
You've seen it.
No, I mean, have you seen it?
Let's do
live?
let's do a Charles Dickens book.
No.
No.
I'm putting my foot down. We will not have a
Please, sir,
Dickensian
can I have
Christmas.
some more?
No.
Can't have any more.
No Dickensian Christmases this year, okay? So-
Wow.
Yeah, we can do
I
that.
like that vampire.
we
option.
can do the
What's the name of
vampire.
that book?
What? Oh,
Vampires
yeah.
of Del
the,
Norte.
the Vampires of Del Norte.
Vampires of Del Norte. Okay.
And what I love about that book is
Oh, you read it already.
yeah, it's
Because we were supposed to do it in
Last
October.
month.
it's
Yeah.
historic fiction. And
Oh.
and it
Wait, what?
talks about where the United States takes over all of the Mexican territory, not all of it, but the northern part of the Mexican territory. And it's a love story, really.
Hmm.
It's good.
Is,
No, that
is
sounds-
there?
I love
Do you
love
know if
stories.
there is a historical fiction love story about, say, I don't know, a Bigfoot?
Oh.
Oh, I can write one.
I
That's a
Get
good
on,
idea.
get on it.
I'm gonna put
Yeah.
some erotica in there.
Hey, we love that. No,
Mhm.
there's no kink shaming.
no kink shaming here.
Hell
I've
no.
never
We
smelled
love
fur like that. That's for sure.
No.
No, you don't want to.
Speak for yourself.
Well, yes, you can subscribe to us. Right now, we're just at the Baney Collective on YouTube. And then please find us at Bourbon, Beer, and Books on Facebook. Thanks, Case, Dory, and Sean for being here from Astoria
Yeah.
In person.
in the
rock.
flesh.
Yay.
In person, you guys got to come out. We'll do at least a half and half hybrid in January.
I like that.
Case,
Yeah.
Case
I'll
comes
be in
out to
Astoria.
I got a van. I might just have to drive.
Yeah.
it.
Have to,
Hey, you
man.
should. That'd be great.
I'll set it up all nice and cool. It'll be awesome.
All right, that's a wrap on this episode of Bourbon, Beer, and Books. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the
Thank
next
you.
episode.
Good night.